Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another product review. Today's product we're going to be reviewing is the KCI USA B&T APC9 magazines. Now I know if you follow my channel, most likely you guys are huge fans of guns like the B&T APC9. You guys know I love B&T. I honestly think they are the best firearms company out there right now. I know that's a subjective opinion. I just like their firearms. But I also know that their stuff is really expensive, especially magazines. And when it comes to the aftermarket, there really isn't a huge amount of support for them. However, KCI appears to be making or importing, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment, some aftermarket magazines for these guns. Now, I don't know if they're reliable. I don't know how good of quality they are, but that's what we're here to do. We're here to shoot these things, see how they fit in the guns. Do they actually work, if they're reliable, and so forth. But so far, from just looking at them here on the table, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. They have a couple of features that I like, which the B&T magazines do not have, that people have been asking for them to upgrade. So let me go ahead and adjust the camera. Let's unpackage these. Let's compare them to an actual B&T magazine, and then let's get them to the range and see if they work. All right, so let's go ahead and take one of these out of the package and compare it to an authentic OEM B&T mag. So here's the packaging it comes in. It just says KCI USA, limited lifetime warranty, compatible with the B&T APC9s, 9mm, holds 30 rounds, and nothing on the package says whether it's made in the United States or in Korea. I know that KCI is a company that imports a lot of magazines from South Korea, so I don't know if this is a domestic production or an international production, and I know some people are going to wonder about that and care, because they really do care about 922R compliance. Because if this is made in the USA, well, this is going to count towards 3 parts on your 922R compliance. Let's go ahead and open this thing up, and then let's compare it. So the magazine is the only thing that comes in the packaging, and it really looks like an authentic B&T mag. The biggest difference that I can see is the translucency. The authentic mag, which is here on the side, and I believe this one's a 20 rounder, the polymer is definitely a little bit more hazy. It's a little bit darker versus the KCI one that you can clearly see through it. It looks like the base plate is exactly the same with a little spring stop. The follower looks the same. The bolt catch looks exactly the same, but then the biggest difference between these two magazines, and this is something that people have been begging B&T to upgrade on their magazines, these have metal feed lips. So the top of this magazine is designed a little bit different. So this entire cap up here is made of metal. A lot of people do worry about these magazines. Some people have told me they have had issues with them breaking or cracking. I personally have not, but there are stories out there that people want these magazines to be like the APC45, where they're all metal or have a metal insert. So I do understand for durability and probably for other political reasons, in case magazines over 10 rounds get banned and you can grandfather them in, they want magazines that are going to last a long time. But KCI seems to have done that. They have these little metal caps up here, so hopefully that's not going to impair the feeding or have any other issues, but everything looks the same. It looks normal. All the dimensions look absolutely correct, and all the molding marks look right. It has all the correct witness marks on it. It has all the different indentations on it. So honestly, I'm really kind of impressed with it. So it doesn't seem to have any issues whatsoever from a visual standpoint. Let's double check that these magazines will hold the bolt open, and they do. Drop the mag, gun closes like it should. So far they seem to work. All right, so let's get these to the range. I'm going to start off by loading both of the magazines that I did get with 10 rounds each. If these magazines are going to cause problems, I'm sure it will do it in the first 10 rounds. If that works, then we'll load them up to 30 and see how those go. And then I'll give you guys my personal thoughts and opinions and tell you if I think these are worth it. right, so after the first 10-round test on each magazine, these things seem to work. They do hold the bolt open, so that works just fine. Didn't have any issues. When it came to loading the magazines, the only difference that I can see between this and an authentic B&T magazine is it seems like the follower in these can kind of tilt a little bit more. I don't think that's going to affect the reliability, so maybe that follower design is just a little bit different. So if your gun's a little bit finicky, you may have an issue, but in my APC9 Pro SBR, I didn't have any issues whatsoever. So far they're running good. All right, so let's go ahead and load up these magazines now to 30 rounds, because sometimes when these things are fully loaded and those springs are under a lot of pressure, well, we can have some other types of issues. So let's see if both of these magazines, and as I said, by the way, I do have 2 of them. Let's see if they both work, fully loaded to 30 rounds. And as you can see, they seem to run great. And I know what you're saying. You had 2 issues in there. Well, the rounds did feed into the gun. I picked them up, and it looks like they had very hard primer strikes, but the rounds did not go off. Let me see if I can get that into focus there. There we go. Yeah, these 2 rounds did have very strong primer strikes, but they did not go off. And in case you're wondering, I was using American Eagle 124 grain. So this was a ammunition issue, not a magazine issue, and not a firearms issue. I was very surprised that I had 2 rounds that just had a bad primer in them. But the gun seems to feed great, didn't have any issues when it came to firing the gun and even loading the gun. All right, so just to be sure, I have a few rounds left. I'm gonna load up the magazines again, just to 10 rounds apiece, and once again, see if I have any other issues, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts and if these magazines are worth the price. And they still work. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with them. They really do look like the B&T magazines. The only difference, and if I really wasn't a B&T, I guess I'll call myself an expert, I wouldn't know the difference. I do know the translucency of these are a little bit different, so the polymer and the KCI mags is obviously a little bit different. I do like those metal feed lips. I do think that is a huge upgrade. I know many people do complain about those B&T mags, saying they wish they made metal APC9 mags like they do for the APC45, and I think that is a valid criticism, especially when it comes to the durability of the magazines. Mainly because I know we live in a very precarious world when it comes to firearms politics. These things can be banned, but they're always grandfathered in. So if you have a bunch of the B&T magazines, and let's just say they do get banned, they get grandfathered, but over time these feed lips wear out quicker because they're polymer, well, you can't get them replaced. But with these metal feed lips, you might have a little bit more durability. So in that way, these aftermarket ones, I kind of like just a little bit more than the stock ones. I don't have any other feeding issues. The moldings on these look exactly the same. The base plates look the same. The floor plates look the same. I'm really impressed. My only issue right now is I don't know where they're made. There's no markings on them whatsoever. So I really do wish that they would mark them. But as I mentioned, when it comes to 922R, the best policy, in my opinion, is don't ask, don't tell. These things are not marked. The packaging says KCI USA, and there's nothing else on the packaging that says made in Korea or made in the United States. Now I know KCI imports magazines from other countries like Korea, but they all say made in Korea, and these don't have it. So you guys have to decide what you think about that and what you're going to do with that information if you decide to go in this direction. I also know some of you guys are going to say, why in the world would you buy a $2,500 or $3,000 PCC that's probably the best in the world and then run cheap mags? Well, magazines are expensive, and it's nice to have a whole bunch of these on hand, both for the political reasons that I was telling you, and then just for the range, especially if they work. I can ask the same thing when it comes to AR-15 magazines. You guys know you can get polymer P-mags, and there's some of the industry standards really, really cheap as compared to the aluminum and the steel ones. And people load up on those P-mags all the time. So if you can get a cheaper alternative, maybe you don't want to run these magazines if this is going to be your personal defense weapon or your home defense weapon, but for the range, I think they're perfect. So overall, I am very impressed. They seem to work, they seem to run, and they seem to be decent quality. So on my star system, how would I rate the KCI USA B&T magazines? And yes, I just dropped one of those packages on the floor. I'm actually going to give this thing 4.5 stars out of 5. Yeah, I'm really happy with them. I didn't have any issues, and it's good to see some companies on the aftermarket side of things coming out with B&T accessories. So I really like that. I like to have that support afterwards, and after you buy it, you have other options. Don't get me wrong, the B&T stuff is the best, but to have cheaper alternatives, especially for just range trips, it's awesome. The only reason I deduct any points is because I don't know where this thing is made, and it needs to be clearly marked on the magazine. So that is my review of the KCI USA magazines for the APC9. They work, and they have a big upgrade over the factory OEM mags. So let me know what you think. Are these magazines that you would be interested in if you own a B&T PCC? And are you glad to see that other companies are coming out with aftermarket accessories for these awesome guns? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.